Hi guys, good morning to you from my location. If you are in the east, you're in Southeast Asia, good evening to you. Or in the Philippines, Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, Laos, or even part of China. So it would be good evening to you, okay? But where I live, it's good morning. So today, just want to share a little story to you guys. Strange encounters. Strange encounters. Just got done watching a video here on YouTube. Couple stories they put it together. So this couple went camping and they rented a camping spot. And they got there. There was somebody already had the pickup truck parked there, but there was nobody. So they decided to not take in that spot. They kind of drive around and relocated to a different spot. As soon as they got there, they're starting to set their equipments down, their camping gears, their tents, their backpack, everything down. The crazy king, hi, ก็หาที่เราก็สหายรู้ได้ไอ้กูเทียบเป้าเทียมอ่ะ ก็ต่อไปใช้ช่องไว้อีกเบลกูเราช่องว่าอีก็มาละชานะช่องเรากูเปียด้านหนึ่งตัวจะหนึ่งจะได้เฉิมลงซึ่งอะไรอย่างอีเบลกูเรากูช่องว่ามีน้องด้านลูกก็มาเลยเจาะตอนนั้น so as they putting the gears down, there was a gunshot. A bullet flew past the guy's head as he was bending down, hit the tree, and at the moment they're just rushing to get their stuff back and ran into the car and goes, screaming and goes off. And strange. Also, this guy he went camping, so he had his tent set up. It was dark, and he's inside the camp, the tent, and then he heard these uh, sounds outside of the camp, like somebody's out there walking around his tent, and he screamed, asking who's out there, and nobody. Then it just quiet down. He ended up didn't sleep all night. Till morning, he wrapped up his stuff and left. Was watching a video here. Strange things. Strange things. So yeah, my brother lives in Portland, Oregon. He told me that one time his friend they went mushroom search up in the forest, and as they're walking down this path, kind of wooded areas, nobody there. Suddenly, this whole bunch of people with rifles, set automatic rifles, surrounded them, asking them what are they doing there, and like they told them that they're mushroom search, and these people told them, "Get out of here, or you'll be killed. Get out of here, or you'll be killed." They're lucky that they were not taken, hostage and kidnapped. And I think my brother then went. They went to a like a drug cartels territory, and they were yeah, my eyes puffy today. Gerard. So I wake up, my eyes kind of look puffy. So then I watch some video here on the screen. So kind of like UV protect my eyes. And then I was like, oh hell with it, I just leave it on. So excuse me for that, okay? Yeah, this one is UV protect. I sometimes have issue with my eyes watching too much um, on this computer screen. Then I start getting this redness the corner of my eyes. So I kind of try to protect my eyes from the UV lights from the screen. Ah, so yeah, my brother and his buddy they wander into a drug cartel territory where they actually, I think they're guarding their marijuana plants in the forest. So be careful out there. You live in the West Coast, up in the mountain in Oregon, and down there in Cali, like Shasta Mountain on the Siskiyou area. No man's land in the jungles, in the wood, in the deep forest. Yeah, be careful out there, guys. But I want to tell you an encounter that I had. Okay, so a couple years back, I went to this remote state forest. So in this forest, it's like a hunting ground. Even now, it's a deep forest. Nobody lives there. So you travel to a small city, and then from that small city to this area, there's huge territory, the landscape that the people go there to hunt for like deers, squirrels, and small games. So uh, in this forest, it's they had only like two or three designated camping ground, camping like spot, and which they had like a bathroom out there. Other than that, you can go there anywhere in this forest, and then you can just pick a spot, clear it up, and then set your camping gear there, and then you just camp overnight. So yeah, it's a deep forest. I'm not sure if you guys ever heard of white water in Minnesota, and then you ever heard of uh, what is it? Lanesboro, Minnesota. It's kind of like border of Wisconsin, Iowa, and Minnesota in that little corner there. So in that little corner is like a hunting ground, state government land, so state forest. So I in the past we used to go camping there with families, uh, friends that go camping there. So I knew this area, this like camping spot. Was This was like a designated camping spot. So I decided, before we went camping there, we have families, so there's a lot of people, and there's nothing to be afraid of, right? So this time I decided to go there. I decided to go camping there by myself because I wanted to explore what it's like to be alone in this deep forest. What kind of noise do you hear at night? What kind of sounds is surrounding? What kind of animal you will hear in the night? So it was this time of the year, August, almost like the end of August, because September comes. The hunters are already go there, setting up their what is it, selecting their camping spot. So in the middle of September, they started to come there and in groups. And then I did not want to go in September in this state forest. This state forest here. Uh, so I decided to go there and this time of the year. Well, so I drove there that night, right? I went there, I parked my vehicle on the parking area on this camping spot. It has like a designated fire pit, and there's one of those bathroom, next to it. So as I sitting here down there, it's about 50 feet down there. It's a little trout creek. So the water came out of the ground. If you follow, we followed where the water came out of the ground nowhere, and then it created this little creek, and then the DNR put they raised trouts in this little creek. So crossing the little creek, it has like a little bridge crossing over to the other side, and if you would look past beyond the creek, there are two huge mounds. Those like American Indian native graves. There are two mounds there. There's huge ones there. So anyway, so I got there. It was like 4 p.m. in that time of the day, and I spent like 30 minutes just exploring the area, find out what's going on, set up my tent, got my firewood ready for the night, got my marshmallow, my whatever, my hot dogs, my barbecue ready, right? And then it gets dark. As soon as the sun set, I heard this giggling, like two little girls, like giggling on the other side past the little creek beyond, the two mounds that across the creek. So they're giggling like some little kids playing over there. So I try my best to look into it, but I didn't see nobody. So I started to feel like spooky. You guys know I got goosebumps, like my hair start to. I felt like the back of my hair it just became like afro, you know, like everything just spiking up, and then I was like, oh, maybe there's nothing, right? And then suddenly the sounds of giggling little girls uh, disappear, and then it gets dark, and I don't see the other side anymore from 100 feet away in front of me. So it got dark, and I started my bonfire, kind of sit there, like sat there. I sat there, and then uh, got my hot dog, my marshmallows on the stick, kind of sitting there by the fire. Then I heard this wolf howling across the creek on the mountain, kind of close to the mountain there. Uh, as I, in that forest, there's a wolf pack over there, and I believe they told me that I never saw, like myself, but some of the, people that hunting there, they told me that there's a wolf pack over there that has a white wolf. It's as the leader, as the leader of the pack there. Okay, so it's about 8 p.m. right now, and I heard this wolf howling, and it start feeling spookier. It gets darker, right? So then After like couple minutes, the wolves just silent, heard nothing. I like looking around, start feeling like chill, chilling. And I was all alone in this deep forest. So from when I camped to the little city, it's about 30 minutes driving because it's like a gravel roads go all the way to the forest, and there's nobody around. At the time, this time of the year in that area, there's nobody. Okay, as I recall, there used to be a woman that lived in one of this camp spot over there. And she was from Seattle, Washington, and she came to Minnesota, and she just drove her car over there and just lived there for like a couple of months. So as you guys know, in Minnesota, in that state park, people actually go there and stay there for like a month in the forest. Uh, it's just like in Colorado, a lot of people go live in the mountain without any like homeless people, like people that don't want to live, don't want to pay rent, and they just go live on the mountain in Colorado. So that's why the you guys remember that the kid that was kidnapped from this mansion back in the days in the 90s, and then after what 30, 20 years, she was discovered. She came back home. That little girl, it was kidnapped by this couple, and they are taking her to the mountain of Colorado, and they just they're like they're living their life like desperado, like the renegades across the mountain. And that kid grew up to be a young woman later. It was pregnant by the kidnappers, two children, two daughters, whatever, right? So in this area, this state park, state not park, okay, state forest, hunting ground. It's kind of like that in Colorado. So the wolf silenced. Then I heard nothing for a while. Then I continued with my fire, sitting by the bonfire, cooking grilling my hot dogs and my marshmallows. And then across the creek, it's like a mountain over there, and there's a creek goes here, and then I was on this side, and the mountains on the other side, and then to the left, it's like deep forest. And I heard something screaming, like like a human screaming, "Ah!" Like that. That sound, like a person was tortured or is beating up in the other side of the on the skirt, on the mountain there, on the foot of the mountain. So it's a deep forest. I had never been to that part of the area, only on the accessible, areas that I was staying. So I heard couples screaming like that on that side, and it was like 10 p.m. right now. It's already like 10 p.m. and I was almost getting ready to get into my tent and go to sleep and then listen to the sound. But these sounds got very spooky, like somebody was torturing somebody else on the other side on the creek. And I just didn't feel like I should stay over, you guys. So keep screaming, right? So I took out my 9 millimeter. Now it's like aiming where the screaming is coming from. It's like pum pum pum, and that screaming sound disappear, right? And I go back to my business, sitting on the bonfire, and then about 10 minutes later, came back again. These sounds coming on the skirt of the mountain again. And then I took my pistol, pum, pum, pum. And that moment was like, no, I cannot stay here. I cannot stay. So right now it's about midnight already. Okay, in the middle of the night, dark. So I had this huge light, on my truck. The light was on, and I was turning my flashlight like this around, surrounding, and everything's just spooky at the moment. So like, I'm like, okay, I cannot stay here. Somebody is not happy because I'm here tonight. I'm like breaking their peace or whatever. So, you know, in my culture, if you go to an area and spend the night or the day and it gets dark and these things happening, that means the spirits on that area, it's not happy because you disturbing their peace, or you do something wrong. Okay, you do something wrong. So that's why all these bad sounds is coming to you, making you afraid. So then you don't disturb the peace, so you're not do anything there. So anyway, I sense that the spirit doesn't want me there that time of the night. So I, pack up my. I just like I had this tent that is a very quick setup. You just open up the rods and set them to the ground and put your stuff inside and go sleep. So I take everything off, put all my stuff back in the truck, wrap under my tent, and put my gears in the trunk. Then I pour this water into the fire pit, and it shuts off the fire. And I got on my truck, started up, and I hit the road. And took me 30 minutes to come back to the city, little small city. And then I spent the whole night. It's like 3 hours from home. So I drove another 3 hours home. And yeah, and this story, it still scared me. Talk about it now. It still haunt me till this day, guys. Uh, weird, strange encounters. So the reason I'm gonna tell you guys this story because I I'm gonna go camping this coming week. So I'm working today, tomorrow, and then go camping for like 4 or 5 days. And gonna go to that area too, the same forest, state forest. But this time I'm not going to, not going to that area anymore. I'm going to stay in the camping ground, like a mall. They have a designated camping ground in the little city. So a lot of campers go there, and people go camping, and they have this little pond, man-made pond, and they uh, stock trouts in there. I can just go catch the trouts, fish in the little ponds. And they have what they had floating tubing tubing rides in this little city down the river, and that is where I'm going to stay. I'm not gonna go to the same place or the deep forest anymore. Okay, so that is why I'm bringing you this story to share with you that hey, there's a lot of things that you won't know about the other side, the other dimension. Seriously, if the spirit don't they don't the spirits they don't like you to be there at that night at the same time, maybe they have a maybe I was there on the wrong day. uh wrong time or the time of the occurrence. Maybe I was there in the beginning of the story. You guys, I told you about the giggling girls, like little kids giggling on the other side by the mountains. Maybe it was the anniversary of the thing that happened in that area. Maybe I was there during that time in when things happened. Maybe there was a murder. There was somebody was at maybe some the native used to live there, and maybe they were killed by other tribe because according to that area there used to be battles, on one tribe against the other tribe, the Native Americans, and try to control the territories. And maybe there's a lot of crime, a lot of fighting, territory fighting uh, over those days. And then I was there during one of these torture or assassin or conquer or whatever battle they had. That's why I heard these screaming noises. And it probably won't happen in other time, but because I was there during the anniversary of the occurrence, the event. So that's why I heard that. Or that's why it happened to me. And it's like I'm lying. When people hear this story, they're like, "You're lying. You made up story." But seriously, guys, only you're the one that encountered the strange thing will understand it, will believe it. The people that you told them the story will not believe it. Okay? And as growing up a little kid, I remember my parents, my uncle. I had an uncle that told me when he was a kid, the village that they used to live, we had tigers that roam through the village in the middle of the night and in the shadow of the night. And when the moon is bright and the dogs barking in the village, sometimes they peep through these little holes because people in the village live in these bamboo shops, little house. You guys know what I'm talking about in Southeast Asia in the forest, small village. Their house are made out of bamboos, and you can see through the walls, the middle of the night, right? They're not like in the U.S. Everything's made out of stones, you know, huge protections. Over there, they live in the little shots, okay, little huts, okay, the little sheds, and like little sheds like these little huts, and made out of bamboo walls. So my uncle said that when he was a kid, dog was barking. The dogs were barking. The dogs were barking at night, and sometimes you would peek through the windows, the little holes. You'll see a huge tiger roaming through. So livestock back in the days in the 40s, 50s in Laos, the people that live in the village in the mountains, so remote that there's so many tigers, big animals like elephants, rhinos, tigers roaming the jungle. So a lot of livestock like cows, cattle, uh, pigs, they were being attacked by tigers and taken to the wood and you know eat it, ate it. Uh, so my parents told me a story that when they first came to Laos from Vietnam and lived in this deep forest where nobody goes, they started their village there. This woman and her daughter, they went to the farm like distance away, like maybe 1 hour walk, and in those days, uh, people had no flashlight, so they only torch. They use like bamboos, crush them, make a like a torch, a bundle of torch, and they're carrying one on their back, one on their back, or two, and they light up their torch and they walk through the dark. And when that bundle start to burn out, they pull the other one from behind them, and then they light up and use that one. So you have to estimate your distance of travel. If you stay late somewhere in the dark and the sun set and gets dark, you can't see. You have no flashlight in the 50s, the 40s, and the 30s, 40s, 60s, in the remote jungle Laos. And at that time, like 1940, Laos they had like 90% jungles, forest, and before, you know, they had that kind of forest. So you'll find small village living in the forest, like uh, you know, I'm talking about like South America in the Amazon, like these Indian tribes, kind of like that lifestyle. So that anyway, this mother and daughter, they went to work in the farm, kind of distance away, and they got it got late, and they didn't. But this woman came too late, and on their way back home, it got dark, and they encountered a tiger, and the mother was attacked, the daughter was attacked. Both of them were attacked by a big, huge tiger, and the tiger ate. They didn't come home, so the next day, the villagers, her family, went to look for her and the daughter, and it showed on the side of the road she was by uh, attacked by a tiger, and then they can see the blood trail. They follow that into a huge rock, and the tiger took the mother and the little daughter through this wood, through this mountain under a rock, and set the bodies down there. And the tiger already ate the little daughter, and the mother was eating halfway. So the people, the villagers, went there and they found the body, and they knew that she was attacked by tiger. So they took that half the woman's body home, and they did a funeral service for her, but the baby was already eaten out by the tiger. Uh so my mom, my dad, they told me these stories in their village back in the days when I was a little kid. So they're saying that every time the people that used to live in that village, every time 1 year around anniversary, on that day, at that time, and that minute, that mother and daughter was attacked, there are people that came through that area. On that day, they hear like a woman screaming, and a baby was screaming, crying, and then they hear, you know, the sound screaming for help, crying, and the pain and screaming for the pain that they suffer, and then they can hear the sound, and they wonder why there's somebody screaming here. They try to help, but there's nobody around, right? So I believe that what I encountered in the state forest in Lanesboro on that day uh, must be the anniversary. So I do not recall what date it is. It was a long time ago, like 5 years ago. So I can't remember what day in August, but I did go there, and I wonder if I ever pick that date again, if I remember, and go spend the night, not by myself because I gave up. I mean, that already spooked me up. But if I can go there with a couple of people, so I can be more like confident, go camping out there and on that date again to see that screaming on the from the mountain, from the mountain skirt, the deep forest. See what that if that will occur again. But you guys, it's a spooky thing. Uh, I know sometimes when you hear people showing video on YouTube here, like what I just watched earlier, uh, what they encounter, and sometimes you think that maybe they're faking out, maybe they just made a story for YouTube purpose. But I believe them. I believe what they're showing them because in myself, I have been to the place and I have encountered strange things like that happen to me. So, you know, you guys might not believe it, you might not like it or whatever, but as I watch these YouTube clips, this content that they put on YouTube, how they encode such a, uh, what is supernatural, strange thing that happened, I believe it. Okay, just like my cousin, he loves hunting. Every year, this time of year, he already got his hunting gear, his rifle, his pistol, his shotgun, everything ready. So he goes hunting all the way till February, March, and anything, animals, small games, squirrels, deer, bears. He goes, and he never missed. As he told me, so the story he told me what happened to them is him because we belong to um, a church. So one time, this is what he told me. I'm telling you guys the story. He and a lot of the men from the church, they kind of gathered up and they went hunting. It was around the almost the end of September, and they went to this white water. It's just pretty close to the Lanesboro. White water is like an hour away from Lanesboro, and it's in the city of Winona, Minnesota, if you guys know, and close to Wisconsin. And this white water place, it's a remote area. Nobody goes there. It's a deep forest. Also, it's a hunting ground. So they always have stories that they heard people encounter a lot of things there. And there's a lot of mounds there, okay? What I mean is a lot of mounds. You go to this area where they went hunting, there's a lot of graves from the American Indians. So you can see a big mounds and it's everywhere, almost in that area. And I had heard story of people be thrown, apple being thrown to them, and they look around, there's nobody, or all these strange things that they heard, screaming noises. So anyway, my cousin, they went hunting, and he said one of these men from the group, he's kind of want to be by himself. He do not want to be part of the group, but he did go hunting with them. So they set up this camp in the middle of this forest, and you know, uh, one night they hunt like a couple deer, and they're cooking the deer, they're making deer meals, and that all the men together, all the hunter they got together, they stayed at this bigger camp. But one of the guy who wanted to be alone, he didn't want to join them, so he set out his tent like way down, like a couple 100 feet down there, because he wanted to be alone and he wanted to read the Bible. He said, oh, God is with me. God protects me. I shall not be alone. I shall not be afraid, right? So he went down there. It's kind of like little hill that they camp, and you had to walk down hill. So he set his tent down there. He wanted to be alone. So that night he told me that night that dude he went out there in his camp, had these little candle lights on. He's reading his Bible, and then these other men were like up here having fun, drinking beer, sitting by the fire, eating deer meals, you know, barbecue deers, deer stews, all those things they're doing up here. And they called up on him to come and join them, and he refused. So suddenly he heard the tree. He heard and saw the tree around him was shaking like this, so bad that all the leaves, he heard the like branches falling down, leaves are falling down, like winds blowing. He heard like a tornado, and then he got afraid. He got out of the tent, and then suddenly something whipped him, and then he was screaming like he got hurt. And then those guys up in the upper camp ran down there, try to see what's going on with him, and they went down there, and he telling them that was something was here, something shaking the tree and whipping him, and with a stick, and then that's why he came out. But when my cousin then went down there, and they didn't see anything, and he's claiming all this happened to him, and then they didn't find anything. The tree was just there. There's nothing going on, no leaves falling. But he experienced that in his imagination, in his mind, when he was sitting alone there reading the Bible. So they're saying that maybe he was lying, but he said, no, it's real. I swear, I swear, I heard I heard all these things, and it's real, right? So they came back, and then he's like, no, I'm not gonna stay here anymore. I'm gonna go with you guys. So he wrap up his thing and take down his tent. He goes up the upper camp and hang out with those guys. So this is like a true story, that two events that my cousin told me that he encountered during that time too. So believe it or not, it's a spiritual thing, guys, and it could be very scary, spooky. So even I'm a grown man, and sometimes I have rifles, pistols with me, and still afraid. Not physically afraid, but mentally in the mind, spiritually, because the mind always think, I don't know, because maybe I was raised that way as a little kid. I was told stories back in the jungle, what happened from the elders, generation after generations, and then that buried in my mind or whatever. And when I heard things or see things, it could be my imagination. It's just like that guy, you know, he didn't want to be with the camp, the other group. He wanted to be alone down there on the lower camp by himself, and then he had imaginations or whatever. But it's like a dream from Freddy Krueger or Nightmare Elm Street. You fall asleep and you see this thing, then you wake up, there's nothing going on. Okay, uh, just like uh, a bad spirit that I used to have, like I told one of the story in here, that back in the days when I was single, whenever I go to sleep, I would see a person, not real face, but like a person in dark skin. I mean, in dark, in like a shadow, will open the window, will come and then sit on top of me and will touch me so many ways. Will I try to open my eyes, or close my eye, will punch me or strangle me, sitting on top of my belly and shaking me. And sometimes the spirit can turn out to be my wife, okay? Like, and one time it actually turned out to be my wife, come out of the window and jump on top of me and then beat the shit out of me and, harass me and torture me. And, I wake up sweating and I like, what the hell, and my wife be sleeping next to me. And, when all these things happen, I was screaming, I was calling for help, my wife's sleeping next to me. And then I wake up with a sweat and I look around, my wife just sleeping now next to me. And I was like, got mad at her. I wake up like, how come you do not help me? And this thing was all over me and I screamed for your help, but you didn't wake me up, you didn't pull me, you didn't protect me. And my wife's like, I don't know, I was sleeping. You didn't do anything. You didn't twist, turn anything. I didn't hear you scream. And then I was like, then you start looking around. Oh, and then you feel that's why it make you feel like scared. So when I was younger, from the age of 17 to 23, I had this spirit that every night it would crawl out the window. It would come and get on top of me and torture me. So uh, that was when I was still not a Christian, right? I was still practicing my old culture, spiritual, and I had that thing on me all the time. I guess my brother gave me that stupid thing because we used to live in Cali, right? And I slept in one room and he slept in the next room. So on that next room, he had this thing on him back in the day. So then after he moved away, I went to take over his room, slept in his room. Now this thing got on me. So everywhere I go, this thing follow me. And I moved to Minnesota, it followed me to Minnesota. When I got married, these things still come attack me every night. It's a spirit. So then I went to church and learn how to accept Jesus Christ. I accept Jesus Christ to God to protect me, get rid of this spirit. So when I did that, I no longer had that back spirit every night, and it makes you're very scared, guys. Every night you're afraid to go to sleep. As soon as it gets dark, you start feeling like, oh no, it's coming. It's coming. It's day in the dark. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm afraid because that thing's gonna come out of the window, open the window, crawl over and strangle you. Sometimes having pretend to be your wife and having intercourse with you, okay, intimacy with you, and strange. So when I when I first moved to Minnesota back in the 90s, so around 1990, right? My one of my friend, he has some other friend, which I don't know, but he was my friend. And what he told me was they lived in South Minneapolis. It's a very rough neighborhood. So when he told me that he had two cousins that lived, I mean, in North Minneapolis. So they went, this young man, they went and rented this place, this apartment. This is not apartment like a house, but it has like a two-bedroom. They rented this house, and then they went to live there, and then they got this nightmare. Like I said, every night this big black woman will come and attack them, and molest them at night when they go to sleep. spiritually in your dream, in your sleep, not physically out here, but every time they went to sleep and close their eyes, this big, you know, mama came on top of them and sexually harassed them all night. You know, they're afraid to sleep. So my friend went, that's his cousin, and he visited them, and they told him about this story, this thing that happened to them in this house. So then he's like, oh, you guys are lying. You guys are liars, right? If that is really true, why don't you guys send it to my house and harass me? Let that big mama come over there to my house in South Minneapolis and do that to me. I would. So it's like, okay, yes, we'll send to you. So he went to the house. One night they told the old lady, they told the they're like speaking to nobody but invisible lady, invisible big black lady. They told her, Big Mama, since you come here every night, torture us, rape us, sexually molest us in the dream. Okay, you heard our friend. He came here. He told us that you should go to his house. We gave you his address, South Minneapolis. And then you guys know what happened? Like a couple of days later, my friend, he started to have this nightmare. Okay, and then those two cousins of his, their nightmare was gone. So my friend, he lived in South Minneapolis. He started to have these nightmares. And every time he go to sleep, this big black lady will come on top of him and molest him anyway, just like how I was molested by this shadow. And he told me his story. It was so funny, guys. So anyway, he slept in this room downstairs. They have a two-story home. I've been to his house a long time ago. I've been to his house, and I've been to his bedroom. So he told me that every night this big black lady would open his door, would come to his bed, sit on top of him, kind of choke him, and sexually molest him, and then poke his eye. He's trying to breathe. She was so heavy that she nearly killed him every night in the dream, not physically out here, but physically you're sleeping nicely. You never twist or turn all night, okay? But in your dream, you're attacked and you'll be tortured. You'll be turned and twist all night. So he had this nightmare for like a couple of weeks, and he went back to tell his cousin, "Hey, you guys, why you guys send me this big black lady spiritually and torture me every night now?" And they're like, we told you that it was real, but you said we're lying. So you told us to send it to you. So, founders keeper now. I mean, she no longer bother us, but she's onto you now. So my friend, he got this big black lady on him, and here's what he told me how he got rid of it. So he had a little pistol, little 22, right? Handguns on his pillow, under his pillow. Every night he went to sleep, and every night he go to sleep. When he had dreams like that, he in his dream he said he pulled out his pistol and shot her. Right? He said one night he went to sleep and she came on top of him. He twisted, turned, tried to push her out, but she couldn't. So he pulled out his pistol and pulled right in her chest, her chest, and shot her. And then she like blew up, and then she disappeared. And he woke up, but when he woke up, his pistol still under his pillow. So then the next night she came back, and he didn't. He went to sleep, and she came back. So this time he told me this is what he did. She got on top of him, So then he twists, he turn and do all this, and she's strangling him. And then this one he did. He stick his middle finger and two finger like a tiger claw, like eagle claw, in between her legs, grab her by her, genital, her big, her big lips down there. He grabbed so hard, he pinched it, and he twisted, and he like do the 360 alligator turn twist, and then he heard, she let her go. He's strangled. He screamed so loud, and she rushed through the door. And he said that after that night, she never came back because he did some damage to her bottom down there with the eagle claw. Okay, so remember, guys, if you ever get something like that on you, remember the eagle claw. Okay, you go in there, grab it, twist, do your alligator turn, twist, alligator twist. You know how alligator attack an animal? It does this. It does this twist to do super damage to the animals, to the prey. Okay, uh, to the victim, to the victims. So yeah, and it never came back after that. So remember that. Okay, your eagle claw with the alligator twist. I'm not lying, okay? I'm telling you a story that real stuff that happened in Nightmares, Elm Street, okay? I know it's hard for you guys to believe stories like this, but you talk to people that actually experienced or been there, and they talk about they still afraid. Like even myself, when I talk about the shadow that molested me since when I was 17 all the way to when I was 23, of those years, and I'm still afraid. Okay, guys. So anyway, it's been 1 hour. Nice talking to you guys this morning. Uh, in America, or evening to all you people in Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, and India. I guess I know some of you guys. I got some followers from India too. Uh, China YouTube is not legal. It's not allowed in China. So the Yunnan area, like close to Vietnam, those people are able to get YouTube signals, but mainland China, no YouTube over there. So it's a negative thing, but anyway, appreciate you guys, and for watching my YouTube channel here. Follow me around, and sometimes I tell you stories like this. So, uh, we'll see you next time. All right. Thank you.